We always assumed the dying brain just goes quiet. In a few cases, it did the exact opposite. For as long as we've had the machines to look, we assumed that dying, inside the brain, looked like a fade to black. The oxygen stops, the activity drops away, and the line on the monitor goes flat, the lights quietly going out. It's a calm, tidy picture. And it turns out it might be wrong. In 2022, we got our very first proper look, completely by accident. An 87-year-old man was in hospital, wired up to a brainwave monitor so doctors could track his seizures. And while that machine was still recording every wave in his brain, he had a heart attack, and he died. For the first time ever, we had a continuous recording of a human brain, right through the moment of death. And it did not go quiet. In the seconds around his heart stopping, his brain did something extraordinary. It surged, a sudden, powerful burst of coordinated electrical activity, right at the end. And it wasn't just random noise, it was a spike in something called gamma waves. Now, gamma is the fast, high-frequency rhythm your brain produces during its most switched-on states. Intense concentration, vivid dreaming, and crucially, the act of pulling up a memory. And here's the thing, this wasn't a total shock because there had already been a clue in rats. Back in 2013, researchers found that when a rat's heart stopped, its brain didn't just fade out, it fired off a surge of organized gamma that was, for a few seconds, even stronger than when the animal was wide awake. The dying brain wasn't powering down, it was, briefly, lighting up. So in 2023, a team in Michigan looked at 4 more people, humans, who were comatose and dying, as their families agreed to withdraw life support. They kept the brainwave monitor running through it all. And in 2 of those 4 patients, as the heart failed, the very same thing happened. A dramatic surge of that high-frequency gamma activity. And it gets stranger. The surge didn't just flicker anywhere, it fired up and connected across a region at the back of the brain that scientists sometimes call the hot zone, an area strongly linked to conscious experience itself. If you wanted to design a burst of activity that looked like someone having a rich inner experience, it would look a lot like this. And this is the part that gives everyone chills. That gamma surge, coupled with slower waves, is the exact signature the brain uses when it's retrieving memories. Which is why some researchers wonder, very cautiously, whether this could be the brain running one final vivid replay, a last flood of memory, the neural echo perhaps of that classic near-death experience, the life flashing before your eyes. But now, I have to slam on the brakes because this is where being honest really matters. What we are seeing is brain activity. It is absolutely not proof of a conscious experience. We are looking at a handful of people with brains that were already injured or prone to seizures. And not one of them could ever be woken up and asked, "So, what was that like?" We are reading the smoke and only guessing at the fire. Because everything we think we know about the dying human brain rests on just a tiny handful of recordings that have ever been captured. This is not a settled science. It is a door we have only just cracked open, a sliver. But even with every one of those caveats stacked up, sit with what's left. The organ we always assumed simply switches off, gently, at the end, may instead do something else entirely. It may, in its final moments, blaze up one last time, running the exact rhythms of a mind that is wide awake. So what is that last burst actually like from the inside? Nobody can tell us. And that, honestly, is the most unsettling part of all. If the mind at its strangest edges is your thing, the next one you can try yourself, tonight, in a mirror. On why staring into your own eyes for long enough makes your own face slowly warp into a stranger. Same channel, same slightly too curious little man.